You've had weird mornings before. You've woken up late for work. You've woken up with a text you didn't mean to send. You've woken up on the floor. But this morning is different. This morning you wake up as Michael Jackson. Let's set the scene. It's the year 2003. You are in Neverland Ranch in a master bedroom the size of a small airport terminal. The ceiling above you is painted like the night sky. Hand-detailed constellations, little gold stars, a crescent moon that is almost definitely real gold leaf. The sheets? Egyptian cotton? 400 thread count minimum. They smell like a mixture of expensive cologne and, inexplicably, a faint trace of carnival popcorn. You blink, and then you make the critical mistake that everyone makes in this scenario. You look at your hands. They are not your hands. These are long, elegant fingers. There are rings, multiple rings. There is a single white sequined glove on your right hand that was apparently on when you fell asleep, because Michael Jackson does not take that thing off casually. You sit up, and here is where it truly starts to dawn on you. Because when you sit up, you catch your reflection in a mirror that is naturally the size of an entire wall. The face looking back at you has the most famous cheekbones in the history of human civilization. The nose, and that nose, the one that launched 1,000 magazine covers, is right there on your face. Your skin is pale and luminous in the early morning Californian light. Your hair is black, shoulder length, slightly tousled from sleep. You raise one hand slowly. The reflection raises its hand. You say out loud, and the voice, that voice, comes out. High, gentle, soft as velvet, with a slight breathiness that somehow sounds musical, even when you're just saying two syllables in utter confusion. You are, without question, Michael Jackson. Now, before you spiral, let's talk logistics. Because your body, Michael's body, is extraordinary, and you need to understand what you're working with. First, you are wearing, in addition to the glove, a pair of black dress pants with a red stripe down the side, a partially unbuttoned white dress shirt, and white socks. High white socks. Michael Jackson, even in sleep, is impeccably dressed. You did not choose this outfit. And yet, somehow, it works on you perfectly. You stand up. And here's something nobody talks about. Michael Jackson, in his prime, had incredible physical conditioning. He could dance for 3 hours straight without stopping. His core strength was legendary. He invented a shoe mechanism just so he could lean at a 45-degree angle in defiance of physics. So when you stand up, you feel good. Impossibly good. Your body is loose, athletic, coiled with potential energy. Your legs want to move. There's a rhythm somewhere deep in your muscles, like they've been trained to respond to music you haven't even heard yet. You take one step, and it comes out with a slight, unconscious grace that you absolutely did not intend. You take another step, and your foot does a tiny involuntary scuff against the marble floor that produces exactly the right sound. You freeze. Your body is trying to moonwalk by itself. It has the muscle memory. You are just a passenger. You grab the bedpost to stop yourself before you accidentally do a full spin and knock over one of the 14 chimpanzee portraits on the wall. Yes, there are chimpanzee portraits. Bubbles, Michael's famous pet chimpanzee, has his own framed photographs. Multiple framed photographs. One of them is Bubbles in a matching outfit. You cannot be distracted by this right now. You have to focus. You step out into the hallway of Neverland Ranch, and here is where the full enormity of the situation hits you. Neverland Ranch, in 2003, is approximately 2,700 acres of land in Los Olivos, California. The main house alone is 13,000 square feet. There is on this property a full amusement park, with a Ferris wheel, a carousel, and roller coasters. There is a private zoo. There is a movie theater with a full concession stand, stocked and ready for a private audience of one. There's a library, there is a train, a real functioning train that goes around the property, called the Catherine, named after Katharine Hepburn. And you live here. You live here. You walk down a hallway and a member of staff materializes from nowhere, a very professionally dressed woman with a clipboard, and she says without blinking, "Good morning, Mr. Jackson. You have a 9 o'clock call with your attorneys. Your physical therapist arrives at 11, and you have a fitting at 2. This is your life now. You have a fitting. You have a physical therapist. You have attorneys who call at 9 in the morning, and given what year it is, 2003, those attorneys are busy. You smile at the woman, and because you're smiling with Michael Jackson's face, the smile is so disarming and so genuine that she visibly softens despite being a consummate professional. Thank you say, in that voice. She practically floats away. You decide the attorneys can wait. You're going to the kitchen. The kitchen at Neverland is stocked like the best hotel you've ever imagined. There is fresh fruit, mangoes, papayas, strawberries, arranged in a bowl like a still life painting. There is a full espresso machine. There is a chef who is already there and who greets you with a respectful nod. You sit down at the kitchen island, and which is the size of a normal person's apartment, and the chef asks what you'd like. And here's where things get interesting. Because when you open your mouth to order, you realize something. You have no idea how to modulate this voice. You know how to speak. Your brain is still yours. But Michael Jackson's voice has a quality to it that makes even mundane sentences sound vaguely musical. When you ask for scrambled eggs, it comes out like the prelude to a ballad. The chef looks at you with slightly wet eyes. You just emotionally moved him with a breakfast order. But here's the thing. And this is the part that nobody thinks about. Michael Jackson's speaking voice is one of the most impersonated voices in the world, and virtually every impression of it is wrong. People remember the high pitch, the breathiness. What they forget is that Michael could drop his voice low, speak with authority, be serious and commanding when the moment called for it. He was not a cartoon. He was a person who contained enormous complexity, a kid who never got to be a kid, a performer who was more comfortable on stage than anywhere else on earth, a man who gave more to charity than most people will ever know. You sit with that for a second, eating your scrambled eggs, in a kitchen at Neverland Ranch. You are not just a famous person. You are the most famous person who has ever lived. And nobody, not a single soul in your security team, your staff or your management, knows that you are not him. Eventually, inevitably, you end up in the dance studio. Every serious Michael Jackson scholar, and yes, there are serious Michael Jackson scholars, knows about the dance studio at Neverland. Mirrored walls, sprung hardwood floor, incredible sound system. Michael spent hours in there. Days. It was the one place in the world where he was most purely himself. You stand in the middle of the floor. The mirrors show you Michael Jackson, in his white socks and red striped trousers, standing still. You walk over to the sound system. You press play. And here's the thing about being in Michael Jackson's body with Michael Jackson's muscle memory. You do not have to think. You just have to allow. The first step happens before you've made a decision. Your right foot moves, your weight shifts, your left hand comes up slightly, fingers loose, and something in your hips. Something cellular, something trained through 10,000 hours of rehearsal, just activates. The moonwalk, when it happens, does not feel like dancing. It feels like flying backward. Your feet skim the floor in a movement that looks physically impossible, and you know in this moment, viscerally and completely, why people screamed when they saw this man perform. Because it doesn't look like a human being moving. It looks like gravity has agreed to make an exception. You do a spin, a full 360. You stop on a dime. You look at your reflection. You do it again. For about 45 minutes, you just dance. The bodyguards outside the studio door can hear the music, and they don't think twice because this is completely normal. This is just Tuesday at Neverland. But here's where the video has to slow down for a second. Because it would be dishonest to spend this whole time just talking about gloves and moonwalks without acknowledging what else comes with being Michael Jackson in 2003. The wait. The 9 o'clock call with the attorneys? That's real. 2003 is one of the hardest years of Michael Jackson's life. The Living with Michael Jackson documentary, the Martin Bashir interview, aired in February of that year and caused a firestorm. Accusations are coming. The media, which has spent 20 years simultaneously worshiping and tearing apart this man, is sharpening its knives. There are dozens of people who want something from you. Money, access, a story, a soundbite. The phone in the master bedroom has been ringing since 7 a.m. You don't answer it. Because here's the thing about Michael Jackson that gets lost in all the spectacle. The man carried an almost incomprehensible loneliness. He said it himself many times in different ways. He grew up on stage. From the age of 5, he was performing. He never went to school like a normal child. He never had a birthday party where the other kids weren't also his employees. He built Neverland because it was the childhood he never had. The Ferris wheel, the animals, the train, all of it was an attempt to reconstruct something that was taken from him before he ever had a chance to know it existed. You stand at the window of the main house looking out over the property. There is a giraffe in the middle distance. A real giraffe. On your lawn. And even with all of this, the ranch, the giraffe, the shoes that defy physics, you understand, in some quiet corner of your borrowed soul, why he used to say that what he wanted most in the world was just to be normal. Because normal people don't need 17 security guards to go to a grocery store. Normal people don't have paparazzi camped outside their house every single day. Normal people can have lunch with a friend without it being photographed, analyzed, and turned into a headline. The cost of being the most famous human being who has ever lived is something that no fame, no talent, and no amount of money can compensate for. But before we wrap this up, before you wake back up in your own body, in your own bed, with your boring and blessedly anonymous life, there's one more thing you do. You go to the movie theater. You pull up the footage of the 1983 Motown 25 television special, the night Michael Jackson performed Billie Jean, the night he debuted the moonwalk on live television in front of 47 million people, the night that, according to multiple witnesses, including Fred Astaire himself, who called Michael the next morning, changed the history of popular music. You watch it, and then you sit in that private theater, in Michael Jackson's body, watching Michael Jackson perform, and something very strange happens. You feel proud. Not for yourself. You didn't do this. But proud in the way you feel proud when you watch something that a human being made and you realize it is completely, unambiguously, without any qualification great. The way you feel when you hear a piece of music that makes you understand why music exists. The way you feel watching someone do the thing they were born to do at the moment. They do it perfectly. The moonwalk lasts 4 seconds in that performance. 4 seconds. He invented it over months of practice, refined it, and deployed it at the exact right moment. And in 4 seconds, he changed what people believed a human body could do. You sit in that theater for a while. Then you go put the glove back on. You stand up, and you let your body move. You wake up the next morning as yourself again. Your ceiling is not painted with constellations. Your sheets are normal thread count. There is no giraffe on your lawn. But you remember it. All of it. The way the floors felt under those white socks. The way the voice sounded. The way the body moved like it had music living inside it permanently. And you carry something small and strange with you for the rest of the day. A kind of quiet gratitude for your own anonymous, unglamorous, ungiraffe-populated life. And also maybe a slightly different feeling when you hear a certain bass line come on the radio. You don't moonwalk in your kitchen. You absolutely moonwalk in your kitchen. He was a human being, and he was a miracle, and both of those things were true at the same time.